Dad, this is very exciting. I've been wanting to get to this all show. Dan's still ashamed of that last segment, so he's not back yet.
Yeah, should be.
You had on your list of topics today, top 5 teams you're watching in the tournament. Like,
yes.
It's not your top 5 teams, but just teams you're interested in watching. Explain this process to us.
Well, I'll be interested in watching 5 particular teams for a certain reason. I'm going to let you guys figure out what the running theme of this list is.
Or are they like number 5? We can do like a countdown? All right, let's go.
All right, number 5. From the first 4 play-in round, they played tonight, American University, led by third leading scorer Greg Jones.
I see where we're going with this.
Got my eye on them, too.
Number 4.
The Patriots.
Number 3 seed in the East, Wisconsin, coached by the incomparable Greg Gard.
Swing set, won by a lot.
Number 3, 9 seed in the South, Creighton, coached by Greg McDermott.
And how they divvy up those electoral votes.
Kind of one note this bit, but all right.
Number 2, 8 seed in the Midwest, Gonzaga, led by 6th leading scorer Ben Gregg.
Reaching for that one.
And number 1, 10 seed in the South region, the New Mexico Lobos, because Bo's back Bo's.
Oh! Coached by Richard Pitino.
Yeah, how about that?
He reshaped his career after losing his job over in Minnesota.
How about that?
Lobos are back.
Lobos are back. Really good.
Jack.
Didn't we have somebody from the Lobos on our podcast? The
one that you and I do? I'm not exactly sure.
No. They
so many podcasts these days.
like the mayor. I think the mayor of the town or something was on our podcast bragging about the Lobos. I don't know. Move on.
Greg, how much of the NCAA tournament are you actually going to watch?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I start paying real attention when it gets to the Sweet 16. Like I want the wheat, separate the chaff.
So you don't like the weekend that everybody likes.
Right.
Because this is the one.
Thursday, Friday's it, baby.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the one where you just get games.
I know.
They slow down after the first weekend.
I don't need that many games, and I think Cinderella is a fallacy in the NCAA. Like the 16 beating the 1 has happened, 3 times in history? Like I don't rely on that. I want good teams, survivors. When it gets down to the Sweet 16, certainly the Elite 8, that's when I really start dialing in.
I love when there's so many games that you're trying to figure out, do I have truTV? I don't know. Where is it? And it's like, oh, it's channel 374. It's like, I didn't even know that. What's on there?
Time-honored tradition of seeing Impractical Jokers promos headed into every break.
Literally, I woke up on my couch at 2 a.m. this morning because I had fallen asleep.
Attaboy.
And Practical Jokers on. It was great.
What show's that?
You don't...
It's these 4 guys.
He'll
well,
find
now
out soon
3
enough.
guys.
He'll find out soon enough.
Okay.
Well, no, because they're not
It's
going to be on
a-
truTV by the time he starts watching.
It's amazing that he doesn't know about it just because of once a year we all get inundated with Impractical Jokers ads. But
Maybe he's
it's
just
also
watching
been-
the women's tournament because that one's on mostly ESPN.
I'll tell you what, and I'm not alone, and it wasn't just Caitlin Clark either or Angel Reese, but last year was the first year that I personally was as interested or more interested in the women's NCAAs than the men's. I just found it more compelling. The storylines were better. And this year, I was thinking it would fall off the table because Caitlin was gone. This year, I think Jessica, what do you think? I think the momentum of the women's game has sustained. I think it's as good as last year.
I'm not a father, but I can attest to that. I read that ESPN women's basketball ratings were up this season, so still climbing, which is something that I said last year when everyone's like, oh, after Caitlin Clark goes to WNBA, no one's going to watch anymore, blah, blah, blah. No, it's still interesting. I think this year is going to be great because there's a lot of teams that could win. And there's a lot of stars. Look, Juju Watkins, yes, is a star. Paige Beckers is a star. Hannah Hidalgo, Olivia Miles are stars. Lauren Betts. There's a ton of household names in women's basketball.
Cameron Brink.
From where I'm standing,
She's in the W, but she is also a star.
Good try.
I appreciate
For
but that's a
ACL,
name.
she's on the comeback tour now, though.
Former college
That was a
player.
good try by you, though.
It was. You know what? No bad
No bad
ideas
taste.
in
To be honest, though,
spring
I don't think he can name a current male NCAA player right now.
Right.
Well.
I that's why I'm not.
Greg?
He knows one Duke player.
The story of the
Greg,
the
good
story
Greg.
of the tournament is
Speechless.
Cooper Flagg.
Attaboy.
Will he play in the opener? Should they hold him out until the round of 16? How are they going to handle that?
I think women's college basketball is easier to follow. I think they do a better job of marketing their stars, and also there's fewer teams that have a legit chance to win the championship, and they're actually, I think, fairly covered well in the sport. It's unavoidable if you follow sports to know exactly what South Carolina is doing, what Juju Watkins is doing, what the top upper echelon of stars are doing in that sport. Whereas college basketball feels a little bit more random. You know, the Cooper Flags of the world, but the teams that have a real chance, it's there's just more of them. So I for that reason, I can kind of tangentially follow women's college basketball much easier than I can follow the men's game.
Yeah, and I think the rise in the women's game has been just magnificent in the last few years. I can only speak for myself. There was a time when it was all about the men's tournament for me. I barely paid any attention to the women's tournament. Now I think them as comparable competitions, every bit as good as each other. So it's go women. It's been great.
Greg, so you're going to not be watching tomorrow. I actually love that. You know why? Don't look now. We got... Uh-oh. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
What happened?
It's time for a new game. Don't look now.
This is where you close your eyes, Dad.
Yeah, Greg, do
No
not
peeking.
look. Yeah, don't look.
Love how you had to put down your coffee to not look. You
got
could
two
just close your
just
eyes.
close
You don't
your
have to
eyes,
cover
yeah.
your face
I
like
got
that.
2 hands and 2 eyes.
Let me make sure I'm
can't
close
hear
to
you.
mine here. All right.
Yeah.
What are we not looking at right now?
All right,
Tony?
so we've got a lot of watching to do, a lot of looking to do. In the next couple of days, we got the NCAA tournament, we got hoops, we got a bunch of different things, right? But I'm telling you, don't look now. Nicole Hardman is a Packer.
Wow.
Anybody interested?
Who knew?
What do we think that means?
That was the guy when he was on a Chiefs. When he's on the Chiefs, I was
We
like,
thought he was the next
He could be
Tyreek Hill.
something. He
Yeah.
could be something.
Yeah, McCole.
Don't look now.
Greg, your eyes are open.
Greg, the whole thing is don't look.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have not been able to shake
Dan?
that last segment off
Yeah.
of me.
Welcome back, though.
Were
Is
you
this really
hiding
him?
in the bathroom?
I was ashamed. I was sinking into my own shame.
Well, Dan, don't look now, but after re-signing T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow said, we've got the right guys.
Wow, what a comment.
What else is he going to say?
Great quote.
What else is he going to say?
Is it
We
a
got the
great
wrong
quote?
guys?
That's a
Is
great
it
quote.
a
Yeah.
great
This is a
quote?
Very
Very-
succinct.
Dad, if your eyes are clearly open but just being blocked by a piece of paper, that's looking.
I'm looking at a piece
no,
of paper.
he's not looking, Chris. This is
Thank you.
it's giving me Miami Heat, the power of friendship vibes. Like, I'm not, I know you have the right guys on offense, but that wasn't the problem last
Yeah,
year.
exactly. Don't look now. BG, Brandon Graham, officially retires from the Eagles.
Wow.
15 years in the NFL.
Why can't we look at that?
Be respectful, Dan.
Wouldn't he want that looked
Be
at?
Hey,
respectful.
Dan's back. Dan, shut your eyes.
Dan, do not look. Be respectful
Don't
about
look
BG
now,
and Brandon
but
Graham.
Mike Ryan is being forcibly restrained on the couch.
Who's looking at that?
Not me.
Okay, just making sure
He's
because you
not
said
looking,
that. I don't know how did
which
you.
is-
how
He's
did you
not
know
looking, which is the problem.
that? Okay.
Oh God, he's on the move.
Another one here, Dan. I think this one's really important. And the last one here, don't look now. Patriots signed free agent center Grady Bradbury, filling a major need on their offensive line.
That's
That's not worth looking at.
Don't Look Now is presented by Smirnoff,
And his name's Garrett.
the world's #1 vodka. Please drink responsibly.
That's what I said.
But you weren't looking, so I think you said Grady.
Did I say Grady?
I don't know. You weren't looking.
Okay.
I wasn't looking
All
either.
right, guys, we got to do better than that. We've got to do better than we've done for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, it's been a great hour.
I thought you were gonna say like 12 years, but then you said 30 minutes.
I want a competing bit called Lookie Here.
Why 12 years? Why
I don't
would
know,
it-
I picked a
why
random number out of my
Why wouldn't
ass.
Why wouldn't
20.
it be 20 years?
I figured 12's like when you started at ESPN, maybe. I don't know.
I am feeling.
I don't know the timeline.
Looky Here is what you want to play.
Yeah, Lookie Here.
I can.
I actually don't hate it. Let's flesh it out. What do you mean? Looky here. What
let's
what are
have
we
that
looking
be
at?
the clear spin-off to Don't Look Now, Looky Here, a
Right.
totally different game.
Got to come up with topics, though, Dad.
Yeah.
Well, that's off the top of my head. I got a storyboard in my own mind. But Lookie Here, I'm informing people about something that they need
Mike,
to
you can
think
look
about.
now.
Yeah, Mike.
Mike,
Mike, yeah, you
Look
can look
here.
now. We're on to Looky
I
Here.
release you.
It's totally different, Mike.
Ooh, I've
don't
got
look.
one.
Don't look now. You got to wear a blindfold. Looky Here. You're allowed to look.
Right.
Greg, looky here. Did you see Tua partying at the club?
I did not.
Looky here.
How about
Take a
less
look at
partying,
that.
more winning?
I can hear people screaming. No, it's not Don't Look Now anymore. It's Looky Here now. It's
Right.
Looky Here. You're now allowed to look. We've changed. We've got a spin-off.
Lookie here. North Carolina is underrated and deserved to make the tournament. That would
Well,
be
but
an
that's
example.
the slow report.
Yeah, that would have been my lookie here from yesterday.
No, but that's
had
not
we
okay.
debuted it
Okay, but what if
yesterday.
we were doing it right now? What if we were doing Lookie Here right now? Can you come up with something that? See, this is this. Look, we are shaking at the end of a work week. That's look.
It's Wednesday.
I just got here.
No, I want to paint this picture so that people
Well,
understand.
it's a Wednesday that feels like a Thursday because we were here Sunday.
It's not even just that, though. The old warhorse, Greg Cody, we've been riding this pack mule now for months, multiple times a week. When he gets to the end of the second work shift, he's been beaten down.
Correct.
I know this.
Yeah.
And so
I'm slump-shouldered.
you're hurting here, and you're giving us the best that you've got.
Right.
But it's why a couple of hours ago, it's you in the batter's box. It's a cleanup hitter. There's not a lot left in the
Yeah.
tank at this point in the
Yeah.
week for you.
Can tank us.
See, not a lot left.
Looky here.
He's gonna give you the best of what he's got, but there's not a lot left. But right now, based on the news of the day, can we get from the football take guy whatever it is that you want to do? Cam Ward's number one. Aaron Rodgers, the Vikings don't want him. You can give me a lookie here right now and debut the game producing yourself if you've still got anything in the tank.
Okay. All right. What do you want? Like 3, 5?
I just want lookie here and whatever it is you want to do with lookie here to really sell this new game that you just invented. Don't Look Now has been replaced by lookie here.
Looky here. This is not a great NFL draft for quarterbacks. Cam Ward at number 1, even he is not assured of being a big star.
I'm looking at that.
Looky here. The way they're playing lately, should the Miami Heat even want to make the playoffs? I say tank a little bit. Give me a mini tank, finish 11th, avoid the purgatory of the play-in.
Don't they have a unprotected pick? What is that?
He hasn't considered that.
Yeah, pick Schmick.
Again, that's a totally
There it
different
is.
conversation. We're not looking at that right
He
now.
doesn't
What we're
wanna look
looking
You're
at
right. I'm
is
sorry.
making sure that they don't make the playoffs to then figure out whatever's next. A couple of years ago, they could have had Wembanyama, though.
Good point.
Thank you.
Well, he's been making it for a long time. Tony, I think, debuted. I think that was the original lookie here for Tony. Was it not that you were suggesting that Heat playoff run against the Bucks, that it should have started with a tank for the
Why is Mike haunting me
he's
right
looking.
now?
He's looking now.
He's looking.
Oh, looky
before
here.
made him,
Wouldn't
you,
look.
those were
Literally.
so
Told
good.
him to looky here.
You were
Okay,
look.
that's
You
a little
gave
close.
you gave him.
Mind my personal space.
He's rattled and he's losing energy as this goes. Zaslo's going to be brought in. Look, it's not easy to replace the Hall of Famer Stugotz. We try. What just happened there?
I turned it into an Eskimo and rubbed his
did
nose.
Mike
I
Ryan
don't know if we call it that anymore.
did Mike Ryan
Why? You can't say Eskimo?
Please stop.
There's a ice cream. There's an ice cream sandwich called the Eskimo pie. What are we going to change the name of that to?
Hopefully not.
The Eskimo people are great people.
All right, Dad. Just you don't have to quadruple down. You've said enough.
They don't all live in igloos, by the way. I'm not making a stereotype.
You're making it better.
Thank you.
Dan, to answer your question, yes, that was the original lookie
No, let's
here.
just sit in it. Let's just Tone, just back off.
trying to help.
No, I thank you.
Saw the ball in the air.
No, but this is what I'm look, this
Off
is
the
what
shingled
You
roof.
can't say Eskimo anymore.
All right. I've been falling apart for 45 straight minutes.
You really
okay?
have.
Okay, but wait a minute. You're not making anything better, and I just need you to shut up for a second.
Yeah.
Okay? I simply, what I need most from you right now is just silence. Okay?
Why don't you play Dan's terrible question again?
What is the worst part of the life?
This guy's telling me to shut up.
I didn't see it because it was out of the corner of my eye, but I'm pretty sure that Greg Cody just rubbed one of those giant nostrils across the face of Mike Ryan, who could not stay in character because of how it felt to have one of those giant nostrils graze him. Is that what?
The photo.
I do have big nostrils. Equine.
We've not taken a better picture than that. Please put that up behind me. Put it where. that nostril. Great. Look, there you can see Mike Ryan trying to stay in character, but
It looks photoshopped.
It does. It can't have really happened.
that can't smell good to Mike.
And vice versa.
We're back, Dan. Huh? Rough couple minutes, but we're back.
Well, we do nothing better than sink into the incompetence. It's available so frequently. It's so available. Hold on, let me get my head out of the way so that, yeah.
There it is.
They can put that on the tombstone of our show, and I'd be good with it. Because I'd be totally good. All of that, Mike, the smells, the sense where you're holding your breath like that, Greg Cody that close to you is that nostril that close to you is substantive.
It would take a lot to make me stand down. I'm not saying that I stood down. But
I no
was
longer
close.
have the most awkward stutter of this segment. Dan, thank you. I was lost for words earlier when Greg said that Cameron Brink was still at Stanford, and I tried to let him slide, and I was like, it's fine.
He's trying.
It's not been a good hour for Greg. It's been moving a little bit fast. I did want to ask you guys, because this one struck me yesterday as something that we didn't quite explore enough. Billy Gill and Greg Cody being against the fun of the Savannah Bananas. Just against 65,000 people coming out to a football stadium and filling it to see an invention of creativity that has crashed the sports market and fills the stadium in a way that's lunacy for minor league sports. And Greg's against it. And it also represents like breaking through on just, hey, sports can be fun. And Greg's against it. And Billy's against it. And I'm like, why would you be that aggressively against something just because it's popular? And it's popular because people are just enjoying something that's kind of goofy and fun and silly.
Yeah, I'm against it as the unwarranted phenomenon it has become. You know, it's a clown show disguised as sports. It's not baseball. You know, it's family entertainment. I get it. I get it why kids want to see it. It's a circus. It's a carnival. That's all it is. I don't even put it in the category of sports. You know, I maybe if I were 8 years old, 10 years old, I would be enraptured with it. But as an adult, I'm going, really? People love that?
It's rare to have an unwarranted phenomenon. In fact, I'm scanning my brain. I think the only unwarranted phenomenon was that one U2 album that showed up on everybody's phone.
Good point.
But it just seems like such a strange thing to shake your fist at in sports that...
Do you hate the Harlem Globetrotters too?
Exactly.
You know, that's what he was saying. That his point yesterday was that he also aggressively hates the Harlem Globetrotters.
Okay, but the Harlem Globetrotters had their day. And I know they're still around. Technically, they still tour and everything.
And now the Bananas are.
But obviously, they aren't what they used to be. I thought we, as a society, had outlived that kind of a clown show. That's all.
We did, and we pivoted
Yeah,
to white guys.
our society's so evolved.
Now it's white guys in baseball.
They went to a sport that needed it, though, right? I mean, baseball is slow, so it's like we can do something with this sport.
Right,
It takes
and-
a lot of skill, but let's do bells and whistles. You love it, like with your
Guy on
show.
stilts.
Every episode, you're like, can we get a few bells
running
and
the
whistles?
bases.
It's all made better by a guy on stilts.
How's he running? How's he turning second?
Oh, a guy on
He's on
stilts.
stilts.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Guy on stilts make everything better? Greg Cody's still mad at Billy Corbin and said that coward jackass didn't show up.
It's true.
Iliza Shlesinger is next. Hello, Iliza. It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Dan.
She was on South Beach Sessions, if you have not seen her, and she's got a new special out, A Different Animal. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. She's on tour now with U.S. and international dates through the end of 2025, and she's got shows in Florida all of next weekend, March 28th at Hard Rock in Hollywood, March 29th at Hard Rock Orlando, and March 30th, Hard Rock in Tampa. You can find dates and tickets at Iliza.com. Iliza Shlesinger with us. Thank you for joining us. You could catch her on South Beach Sessions. We had a long-form conversation. How's the tour going?
Tour's going great. It's wrapping up after Florida. Those are our last U.S. dates. And then the new tour kicks off in the fall, randomly in Estonia. But I don't expect your listeners to make it out to that show. So the tour's going great. I appreciate being on here. This ring light is working overtime for this 9 a.m. interview with me.
How do you feel about touring? It takes you away from the family. Sometimes you can bring the family with you, obviously, but how do you feel about it?
You know, this is my job. And so it changes when you become a parent. I decided as a treat / punishment, my daughter gets to come with me to Florida this time. I lured her there by telling her there's going to be a lot of fruit and tropical fruit in the green room. So a little baby has never been more excited to be at a casino.
Last time that I spoke to you, you avoided generally social media commentary, but the praise for your comedy special has been strong. Are you still avoiding it?
Yeah, I took Instagram off my phone, and my social media team looks at it. So I think social media, especially as a comic, should be a one-way street. Like, I do the output, but we're closed for the feedback, because at 42, we know the compliments, and the insults are always regenerating. So I'll just avoid those for the time being.
What do you love about this special? Obviously, you are now a veteran. You have polished these things. Do you feel about this better than you have about others? I know you sort of have to say that, but what have you learned?
You know, as a mother of two, I just turned 42. I think this comedy is all about giving people a really good time. You know who I am. When you sign up to come see my show, you know that you're going to get a little bit of insight wrapped in comedy, but I think we're all kind of going through a weird, tough time, just with everything going on. So I think more than anything now, this is incisive, raucous, a lot of fun. It's very physical. I really do think it's fun for the whole family. I don't know if you can bring your whole family to a casino, but I think there is really something for everyone, because I genuinely want to include everyone in my stand-up. So if you leave feeling offended, maybe you shouldn't be watching stand-up at all.
Ooh, that's actually a great segue to something I wanted to ask you. We have male comedians come on our show all the time, and I'm a huge fan of yours, by the way. But they come on and they always make degrading comments about women that we just let slide. So I was wondering if you could say something degrading about men.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the special, so don't you worry. It's actually baked into my body of work. Look, I really think as a real feminist, my job is to hate everyone equally, and I think that, truthfully, I always want women to leave feeling good from my shows. I am one, and I see the things that we're up against, but you don't have feminism without men agreeing. And no man wants to buy a ticket to a show to be told that you're a problem or to be made to feel bad. So I do believe in bringing everyone in and insulting everyone equally. And, we have an audience that's 60% men. So I'm sorry, 40% men. So I think they get the memo. But when men degrade women, it just reeks of like, I'm sorry you didn't have sex in high school and you're like still bitter about that.
Speak of the devil. Is this an especially good time or an especially dangerous time to get into whatever you would consider to be political humor?
Incidentally, you're talking to somebody who didn't actually have sex in high school, because he lost his virginity at 23, we learned
22,
yesterday.
Actually. 22.
Well, maybe back in the 20s it was different. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe contraceptions were different back then.
It was the 30s, so quit maligning me.
My mistake. It was called the Great Depression for a reason.
Yes, it was. But,
I'm not a political comic. I mean, look, you could probably tell by the tone of my voice, like a little bit how I vote, but I believe that we all contain multitudes, and I believe it's a case-by-case basis, and I don't expect people who live in a rural area to agree with people who live in a city. My comedy is never political. It's always social, and I really pride myself on having a really nice mix of liberal, conservative, queer, your grandpa, whatever. I do a lot of work with our USO. I have a lot of military in our shows. I have a lot of people that span all political spectrums. And I think they keep coming back because there's certain inalienable truths in the comedy that I have. I don't know if my comedy brain is firing on all cylinders at 9 a.m.
Can you explain to us what the feeling is with a special coming out? You've been sculpting this work for a year or longer, I would assume. So is it relief? Is it excitement? Is it nerves? Is it all of it?
Dan, you asked such elegant questions, and I love that you said sculpting, because it really is a piece of art. And I guess it's my 7th special, so like I've been here before, I know the feeling, but there is an excitement of this like thing that you crafted, and you have to, as an artist, just realize once you release it to the public, it's no longer mine. Like I stand behind everything that I said, but it's up for people to interpret and digest, regurgitate, reject, embody however they want to. And so I'm excited to see the way the fans receive it over the next year. And I'm excited to see what those jokes turn into for the next special. So it's a roller coaster.
Are these political times good for you, though, comedy-wise, not any other way?
I feel like political times always equate to a rough economy. So, that's why I'm like begging people to come out to see me at the Hard Rock so you can see a show and see Christina Aguilera's shoe right next to me. I think good or bad political time, people still need to laugh. And, I'm not getting up there and giving a full expose on the war in Ukraine. People, if anything, more than anything, need a way to get away from their problems and step into a dark room and laugh with a bunch of strangers who may not be like you. Maybe you meet your wife there. Who knows? So comedy always is good business.
What are the 3 comedians or comedians that you will check out whatever it is they're doing with a degree of enthusiasm, excitement? You'll make sure to find it and, just admire it.
I can't say I would make sure, because that would suggest that I have the free time to like watch full hours of stand-up. But I always enjoy, if I'm at a show and we're all doing spots, I'll always come back in the room to watch Sebastian Maniscalco. I think he's very funny. If Cat Williams is doing something, I know that's like so random. I've always been a fan. I'd have to think of the other one, but I will tell you, I do make sure to watch a lot of younger comics, and I produced several 10-minute specials called Iliza's Locals, which you can watch on Hulu, and we just did the 2nd season, which will be out on Amazon coming up this year. So I'm always down for watching new talent, helping to shape and hone and polish jokes, and so those are the things that take up my time.
One of the things that I've been interested in, and Cat Williams spoke of this when he did that Shannon Sharp interview, is pointing to the Joe Rogan comedians. And he was saying none of those guys are funny, but they are running comedy. And the amount of popularity that Rogan's guys are getting and the economy that is in Austin that now feeds Kill Tony and an assortment of other things. Where is your assessment on Cat Williams saying, I don't like the people that Joe Rogan knights, even understanding that I'm asking you a bit of a dangerous question there?
No, I'm not afraid of anything. There's no backlash here. I mean, people that would be angry at that answer are going to be angry regardless. Look, comedy is a meritocracy, and you don't have to like who's successful, but you can't knock the fact that it happens, and especially now with the internetification of comedy, comics have more access to finding their audience. There's no kingmakers anymore. You don't have to go on the Tonight Show and be anointed. Greg, I know you miss those days. You don't have to go on Star Search. It doesn't have to be because you had this special set. So you are finding comics who are able to find their niche audience and do really well, and they're not even household names. So that's good and that's bad. But I don't think you benefit ever from coming out and saying who you really hate and why, because even if you're right, it always sounds like sour grapes.
I'm curious what you think of the TV series Hacks and how accurate you think it is.
It's so accurate. It's so scathingly accurate. I wish I could just get in a room with those writers and be like, but how do you know this? She, of course, reminds me of Joan Rivers, but I remember I watched the whole thing. I was reticent to watch it because I was like, as a woman who's tried to pitch a show about a female comic, you're always told that no one would watch it. And then you have Marvelous Miss Maisel and this. So there goes to show you. But when she tried to get her own late night show and she couldn't, I cried watching it. And I think a lot of women cried because we all know that feeling of trying and just being told that you're not right, you're not good enough at all times. So the show, it's like a ghost of Christmas future, Christmas past. Like, I hope to be that scathingly honest and bitter and intelligent and well-dressed when I'm Gene Smart's age in that show.
There's no more famous story of the way that women can be mistreated in comedy than Joan Rivers being run off the road the moment that she started competing with Johnny Carson after Johnny Carson and helped her in so many ways, and she helped him in so many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think what it comes down to, and for the girl who's there, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad there's another girl here. I think it comes down to women contain multitudes and do great things. And as much as we get pit against one another, it usually is like a bitter male comic secretly stepping on your neck. Like I have seen those tantrums in my own interviews. I've had male comics walk out of a podcast. I've had male DJs walk out. I've had men who, I might have the wrong inflection and then all of a sudden they're upset. So we always are told to get this tough skin, but I would give that advice right back.
My name's Lucy, by the way.
Lucy, nice to meet you. I'm sorry.
I would assume that
Charlotte.
it is a world of atrophied adolescents, close to toddlers, is what I would assume the world is.
Yeah, I think to criticize these things as a woman, you just get called a bitch. And even when you go on some of these podcasts and you agree with the host, you're still subjected to the comment section, which is why I turned that thing off. And so you are dealing with gigantic children. But for some reason, if you're smart enough to know that, somehow that makes you the problem. And so it is this weird catch-22 of like being just smart enough to know the environment, but like not being able to comment on it. So the answer is make your own money, sell out your own shows, get your own fans as a comic so you don't have to ask anybody for anything. And that is my favorite part of this job is I don't require permission.
What do you love and hate about the road?
Oh my God, I don't think we have enough time. I love making this is so dorky, but like I just did it. I love making a connection. I'll call it like a butthole tight connection in a big airport and walking from one plane onto another. Like you feel like you nailed it. I love that. I love obviously the performing and the fans. I don't love trying to find like a good salad late night in a city like Buffalo. I don't love missing my family. But I do love the travel and I do love seeing those miles get racked up. And I do love being the only woman in first class sometimes. And I love getting to see all the different types of fans all across the world and our country, because it gives me a true working knowledge of this amazing country. Because it's very easy to sit in somewhere like Los Angeles and live in your bubble, although Los Angeles is like 70% Latino, so it is pronounced buble. But it's very easy to sit here and have judgments about everyone else, but then you go to those cities. Like I've been to Gary, Indiana, the murder capital of the world. You go to Cincinnati, you go to New York, you go to whatever, to get some real context, and you realize, oh my God, people are good everywhere. And that's why I don't just like take aim randomly because someone's politically different. Like we are all mostly good people just trying to like live our lives and eat some buffalo wings at 2 a.m.
Give me some of the moment or a moment on this particular tour where you have been awed by either the size or the emotion of the crowd and compared it to something in your past early in the journey where you were like, man, I'm a long distance from that catastrophe when I used to tour.
I appreciate that question. That would suggest that I have any gratitude. And as a comic, I don't. I only ever think about the ways that I'm failing. And I know as a woman, I'm supposed to be like so grateful. I'm never in awe of the size of the crowd because I look at those ticket counts. So I always know what we're walking into. But I will say, I brought my daughter to my show in Vancouver, which was incredible. They're always amazing. And she watched from side stage. And at the end, she ran out. No one told her to. She ran out and I scooped her up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I started talking about like hand jobs and vodka sodas at 21, like getting paid like free chicken fingers at like a bar in Santa Barbara, like wherever. And now there's like a little girl here that I deliberately had. And so that was a weird world. And I toured pregnant with both kids. So I turned over and I was like, I can't believe that this little girl is here. And that I let her stay up till like 11 o'clock, which is really bad parenting.
Oh, but that's such a great snapshot that you're describing at the top of your profession where, I mean, that's just the coolest. How old is she when this is happening?
So she was a little bit under 3 and she just turned 3. And so just like her little legs running out, and she wasn't afraid of the crowd or anything. It was just a magical moment to like scoop her up. And I knew I got to be backstage with her. Normally there's a dog waiting for me, but having her back there, and I was like, oh wow, you ate all the fruit in the green room. And so
You were
That was it.
you were actually paid in chicken fingers. That how early in the career was that where the act paid you in chicken fingers?
So the secret was, and this is before everybody got paid. Now you get paid to do your spots around town, but I had a day job. This would have been, I got a gig in Santa Barbara. So I left my day job at 6:00. I drove down there, and like at the time, no one was really getting paid, or at least I wasn't. But you got free dinner at this bar, and they gave you 20 minutes because you couldn't get 20 minutes at the time in LA. I was like 25 because no one knew who I was. So I got free chicken fingers, and I got to fill up my own gas tank and pay for it. So that was that.
March 28th at Hard Rock in Hollywood, March 29th at Hard Rock Orlando, March 30th, Hard Rock in Tampa. If you want dates and tickets, Iliza.com. Help us settle an argument from yesterday. People are yelling at me because they say I ruined and spoiled the Righteous Gemstones because I told everybody that Walton Goggins is funny when doing full frontal and angry. What are the rules on this in the modern age? Can you help me, please?
On spoilers?
Yes.
I think you have to put a spoiler alert if it's within. Does Righteous Gemstones, and I should know this because I was on it last season, do they release them all at once?
Hold on a second. No, it's not. No. Hold on.
Look at me, Lucy.
It's just a name drop. When you said I was on it last season, we like to, it's a look at me situation.
Oh, yeah. I was on it. Good luck finding me. I'm in a giant wig. But I should know. I don't remember if they drop them all at once or if it's appointment viewing. Do you know?
It's supposed to be appointment viewing. I thought that this
It's
was
once
one
a
of the
week.
shows that we all talk about at the same time.
I think you get to do a spoiler alert. Like, I think if it comes out that week, you have to write spoiler alert. But if we're a week out from it, I think then you missed it. It's appointment viewing. But I think always writing spoiler alert or saying it so people have a chance to tune out is online courtesy.
I reject that as a suggestion uniformly. I will
I
not
didn't say
accept.
trigger warning. I said spoiler alert. They're different.
It is nice to see you again. Iliza.com is where you go. A different animal is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. There it is. Look at that. Look. Wait a minute. What? Look at that. What?
I just knew it would be a great way to go out.
Yes, that's a great dismount. Looks deeply unhappy, that animal.
She is.
Projecting, Dan.
It's the height of winter, but it's also a great time to gather with friends and enjoy some Miller Lite. That's right, Miller Lite has the taste you know you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just that beautiful white can and a great tasting beer for people like you and me who love the taste of beer. Because Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, with simple ingredients like malted barley for rich, balanced toffee note flavors and that iconic golden color that we all know and love. And here's the most important part for me. I mean, I like all the things, but 96 calories and just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, Miller Time is always a good time. The original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Spliff Notes is sponsored by Jimmy John's. They're finally here, and they're hot. Try the new toasted sandwiches at Jimmy John's. Order one today.
Where's that giant Jimmy John's giant pillow that you had yesterday? Because they
Not a
sent
pillow,
this
it's a
in.
bag of chips.
Okay, giant giant bag of chips that looks like a pillow.
Right.
Yes, it's good work by you.
Only 100 calories here in
Yeah.
this bag.
I have still not been able to shake my Iceman mistake. I am still suffering from Tell Us About the Life. Juju Gotti, please soothe me. I'm sure the internet was very kind about my vulnerability and my awkwardness.
Before we get to that, I'd just like to throw a celebration.
Yes.
Thank you to Jimmy John's. I see you. Holy moly. Spliff Notes is finally
Thank
sponsored, man. Oh, my goodness. Salute. Big salute to Jimmy John's. If you're out there and you're hungry right now,
go
I
get it.
suggest you go get you a sub ASAP pronto.
That turkey avocado sandwich they have is divine.
Oh, yes.
I'm a Club
That's
Lulu
not the
man
only
myself.
Club Lulu.
thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Or the Italian nightclub. That's my favorite. I love the Italian nightclub.
Hey, me too, dog. Me too. But yeah, dog, you know how we usually give out $2 fines? I think we should give $2 to whoever put the Iceman in Dan's notes because it made everything worth it today. Oh my God. Claps to whoever
Yes,
did
way to
that.
go,
Hear that,
Kugler.
Kugler?
Way to, yes. The
Right
best
on.
move is always make Dan look like a fool. Yes. A universal joke that will pay till the end of time.
Yes, sir. And also salute to Jason Granados too, man. The YouTube breaks, the flashbacks. Oh my God, they've been chef's kiss. The whole crowd been loving it, man. I think the only question to ask you, Dan, right now, as we look at the beautiful room, look at them. Oh my God, my brother Danny. I got one question for you, Dan. What's the hardest part of the life?
What is the worst part of the life? What is the worst?
Dan, remember when you asked that?
What an idiot.
Great answer by
Do you know,
Christopher
do you
Bell.
know, do you know how hard it is to be the idiot on the day we have a giant photo of Greg and Mike nose to nose? and incidentally, Greg still wants to defend. He spent the entire break looking up why it is he shouldn't be using Eskimo anymore, and he wants to double down on it.
I mean, I don't mean to insult anybody. Technically, I want to say the indigenous people of the Inuit nation or whatever, but I didn't think.
The mouthful.
That's not respectful.
It is a mouthful. He's right. It's a
But
mouthful.
But the or whatever's, it makes it more of a mouthful to make it the or whatever there.
No, honestly, I referenced Eskimo to support you and the Iceman nickname because Eskimos are associated with ice and the Great Northwest and all that stuff. So that's the only reason I did that. But mean no disrespect to any people. I'm a lover, not a hater.
Kind of thing.
That
Just-
kind of thing.
You can
right.
just apologize. It's okay, but you want.
To anyone who I may have offended.
Oh boy.
I'm sort of sorry.
All right. Juju, any other thoughts on today's show or anything from the week? We have missed you for the post games the last couple of days. You've done an exceptional job covering the Unrivaled. Thank you to all of you who suggested, bombarded me with us being bought and paid for by John Skipper's investment in Unrivaled. It is not that. Juju has loved.
We just love good sport around here.
No also, good follow. Good follow. Also, Kristen Graceler, Roz Gold. They've been doing a fantastic job all year covering the Unrivaled League, even though David Sampson hated on their commercial. That's another thing. David Sampson, you have a whole segment committed to you every year, every week where you get to just tell us how good Nothing Personal is. Let the ladies have their promo commercial. We don't have to do that to them. They've been doing a great job. Salute to the Unrivaled champions, the Rose, the Long in the Tooth, No More, Chelsea Gray. She slayed all the haters. Oh, my God. And I seen my sister, Jessica Ann Lehman, out there. What a perfect cherry on top to the Unrivaled season.
What is the critique of the Sampson segment today? Anything good or bad come out of that?
Brother, we need to start putting some trigger warnings on David Sampson segments because just for meanie pants. Like, so you mean to tell me if I pay hundreds of dollars to go to the baseball game and my mama texts me an emergency text and in that text a foul ball cracks my cranium, the first thing he rushes into is say, your fault. You don't get nothing.
Well, first of all, Juju, those tickets don't cost hundreds of dollars.
Marlins.
Seriously.
They suck.
The Marlins should pay you to go to those games.
That's kind of his point.
Right.
Where Greg Cody would be batting cleanup.
Exactly. They might as well sign me looking at their lineup.
If you were a practice squad, though.
If you were a good hitter, you'd bat first or second, though.
It's probably true. I heard that the best hitters bat second now. I don't know where that wild rumor started.
What else do you have for us, Juju, today in the way of complaints?
Man, the complaints. One complaint has been hitting my email, my text message, my DMs all weekend. Spoiler alerts with this show, y'all. We have to do a slight better job. This is how you do a spoiler alert. Hey guys, I'm about to talk about White Lotus. So if you haven't watched this week's episode, fast forward 15, about 2 minutes. Give a pause And then you say how brilliant you think Buddy was in the monologue. Then you say, I saw a pee-pee. Then you say all the things you want to say. You opened the show with, now that's how it's done, Gemstones. It's like, whoa, me and my wife had it queued for later. So I'm talking about, I at least got 15 to 20 people saying, bro, you got to tell Dan for me. Do not spoiler alert this stuff. Back in the day, we had a segment on this. Stugotz was asking, when is the proper time to talk about Game of Thrones, GOT? And we landed on about Thursday was about politically correct to talk about that Sunday's episode. You dig it?
I have to get used to this because I thought we were a live show that talked about the things that had just happened. I thought that's how we were doing this. I must be some sort of dinosaur trying to do something that reacts to whatever it is just happened. That's not how we're doing it anymore.
Maybe we'll play this before spoilers.
Spoiler alert, sorry.
But we have to react to the sports that are live. And oftentimes that means we can't get to the scripted content that is also airing on the same day, right? So
I thought Billy's spoiler alert Wednesday was a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. At least Wednesdays. Because, you know, people go on dates on Sunday nights. People work on Sunday nights. People work early Sunday mornings. Sometimes we can't expect them to see everything we see, you know what I mean, with our blessed jobs. So just respect to the audience. They definitely had a big problem with that, though.
I will take it under advisement. Polls, please. I will try to do better. We will see. I was defiant yesterday. We will see.
I'm looking at your eyes right now. It doesn't seem like you're going to try that hard.
We'll see.
Whose apologies worse, Stan's, Greg's, or Draymond Green's?
I will try to do better.
Yeah, anybody who says I will take that under advisement doesn't give a shit.
Also, before the polls, we got to put a little bit more respect on Theo Penson's name. I heard you say they're giving everybody podcasts, but Theo Penson, national champion Theo Penson, went undrafted and still had a 5-year NBA career, Theo Penson. That's less role model levels, you feel me? We salute people with way less on their resume than that, you feel me? So salute to the big dog, Theo Penson. I see you, big bro.
I didn't really get from anybody other than the nominee of us a podcast that would be less listened to than Byron Scott is what it is that Chris Cody got in the mix.
I just was like, when I saw that, I was just
well,
like,
but
wow.
I wanted other nominees there. I wanted other actual nominees because Juju's right. That's a slight at Theo Penson. Theo Penson has done something that not all of us have done, but Chris Cody's reaction to us playing Theo Penson sound was, who's Theo Penson? That was a legitimate question he was asking.
Mm-hmm, the Iceman.
No, not the Iceman.
Let's play a sound here from Tony earlier in the show.
This was like mid-sentence. I don't know if it was a breath or a witty situation.
Let's play it against the slurp. What the Chris Whittingham slurp was, he was just gulping a bubble of air. Oh, that's aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing's going to beat this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But Tony has, second place, third place in the slurp category in the last couple of weeks.
It's more of a spitball.
Like you're talking and like something gets caught in your throat.
I need the full context of that. I don't know what that is.
All right, we'll see if we can find it. It sounded like you're slurping saliva, like you got some saliva in your mouth. That's what it sounds like.
You can hear the end of it, a little breath, like a little air coming up.
I think I was done dirty
ease
there.
up on my boy Tony, man. Ease up on my dog. Man.
I don't know what happened
too
to
much
Juju.
on my
Again,
dog.
Juju, we need the full context of what's going on here. This could be somebody else's noise that they're attributing to me.
No,
I don't
that
know.
sounds like you. It's not. No, you have not been framed by others on the show.
Wouldn't be the first time.
What do we got for polls today, Juju?
We only had one poll that I put up today, so I'm going to recap the polls for the last couple of days. We also had one questionable poll, which, sometimes we say stuff in our show, but when you read it online, it doesn't read as well. You know what I mean? That's why I'm more so like a call person. I would love a 2-minute call versus a text message, because I want you to hear me put the right emphasis on the right syllables. You did good. So we're going to go to the poll from Monday. If you had 10 Reese's peanut butter cups every day for 10 years, would they disgust you?
That was shocking to learn about Coach Al.
Right. 66% of the audience says yes, they would disgust them. Should they do playoff golf at a putt-putt course? 82% of the audience says yes, they should. Do you remember the phone number of your original home? 88% of the audience says yes, they do.
Wow. Surprised.
Do you know any phone numbers? 86% of the audience says yes, they do.
What's the over-under on that? If I asked the audience and we came back with a median, I'm guessing under on 5. I put the number on 5. Do you bet over-under the average person knows 5 telephone numbers?
I was going to put it
in
at
their
3.5.
phone?
I feel like 5 is a lot nowadays. Maybe I'm wrong.
You think it's too high?
I think everybody knows the immediate family. You know, the wife, the kids.
No, if you've been
partner.
grandfathered in on having to know it, maybe. But I don't. I'm guessing there's a whole generation of people who don't know any phone numbers. Why would they have
Right.
to?
I put it at 1.5, 1.5, with that one being their phone number.
We have some context here from Lewis, who's always trying to help Tony as an ally. So let's see the video and the context that Tony requests.
They throw a pass, gets bobbled 8 times.
That seems like it's edited. That doesn't seem that that's fair in any way.
That's the sound of the pass.
That's the sound of the pass hitting the They throw a pass, gets bobbled 8 times. They throw a pass, gets bobbled
What
8
is
times.
that?
Wait, so it actually is better
They
for
throw
Tony.
a pass, gets bobbled 8 times.
Because it wasn't just a hiccup. It was him, like, doing
It was
what
me
a...
throwing the Hail Mary for
let's do
Alabama
it.
State.
I like it. It was a
They
sound
throw
effect.
a pass, gets bobbled 8 times.
It was presented to me like, hey, we got him here. He had a hiccup.
Imagine
midway.
that, Dan. The haters.
Framed. He was indeed framed.
Is that what the pass sounded like?
Yeah, because when you throw it out of your hands, whoosh,
I usually go.
exactly, put some mustard on
I'm
it.
more of a...
That's the sound of mustard hitting, when you squeeze it out of the bottle and you really...
Yeah.
Thank you.
Does everyone have the sniffles now? 82% of the audience says
It's
yes, they
alarming.
do.
That's disconcerting. It's disconcerting.
Those are your polls.
Thanks, Juju.
For sure. Look, the questionable poll I
what
didn't
was that
read
one?
was, is the key to March Madness white guys? We don't need that to come back either way.
Admit it. Admit it.
You see a backdoor cut from a guy from Yale, you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right through.
I'm locked in.